Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining in on today's session. I hope my voice is clear enough, and I'm very happy, very glad that all of you could join in on the session today. Thanks for taking out the time. Uh, it's fantastic having all of you joining on a pretty landmark achievement for us over here at Adobe. We're really excited. Adobe Captivate 2017. Has been a while in the making. A lot of ideation, a lot of conceptualization has gone into what kind of design power we wanted to give you guys, the users, to be able to take your content to the next level. We're going to be talking about some of those changes today. I'm going to be showing you some of the changes we have today, and uh, I'm really happy that I have the core of my engineering unit here with us today on the session today. So your comments, your questions are welcome. Please feel free to think about how these features could help you. If you feel that there's a use case that this particularly solves for you almost instantaneously, we'd love to hear about that. And post the session, we will be leaving requisite contact details. We will tell you where you can download the newest version as a trial. If you have a older version, how you can upgrade, and all the other operational stuff that we always talk about. But uh, good afternoon once again, and let's put this to the test, shall we? So for the folks who have may not have put up with me in my previous webinars before, my name is Bhim Kaul. I'm the global product evangelist for tools for e-learning and technology at Adobe. Uh, Prior to my Adobe, this is my second innings at Adobe. Actually, I worked at Amazon for a while. I fostered a learning and development community called Seller University, which worked towards excelling sellers at selling on Amazon. And previous to Amazon, I was with Adobe for a pretty long period of time. I did a lot of consulting for design tools, including Creative Cloud and Captivate, and some older tools, or not older tools, but some tools from our catalog known as RoboHelp or FrameMaker as well. So I worked. My spectrum has been pretty extensive, and I'm pretty glad I've learned a lot over these past years. Uh, so for all of us who have been looking for that change on how to create content a lot quicker and distribute it much faster and have the content experience for your user remain absolutely uninterrupted. I want to welcome all of you to the world of smart e-learning with Adobe Captivate 2017. So we're kind of moving away from those virgin numbers now. You're not going to be hearing us tout out a lot about it being 8, 9, 10, or 11. We're going to make this tool pretty much the staple or the go-to place for you to create your e-learning content. So virgins are now gone. We're now looking at years. So uh, absolutely. I pretty much screamed that out too when I heard, like, I just love the fact that you can put like a big year behind the product name. It just gives it a much bigger feel. So let's talk a little bit about where we were about 15 years back. Captivate uh, has matured, has evolved all the way from it used to be called Robo Demo uh, at one time. Once Macromedia was acquired by Adobe, we changed the name to Captivate, and I pretty much, when I look at this chronological order, it brings to me some pretty uh, landmark names that were there during this historical time, and some of those names were, uh, you know, e-learning suite, technical communication suite, robo screen capture, robo help, FrameMaker, Captivate, Dreamweaver. These were possibly those, segmented or those little pieces of tools that all of us just loved using to create learning content that was then ready for web delivery. So, and okay, I'll just do another quick sound check. I think some of us are having some trouble with the sound. So, folks, if any one of you can't hear audio, just refresh your browser really quickly. We're using VoIP, so you can listen to the audio over your computer output, if it's headphones or speakers. And great, if sound is God, that's great. Awesome. So if anybody's facing any trouble, please just go ahead and just refresh your browser. And I'm just going to take Joe's comment here, which is really cool. He says, "Little baby's all grown up." So absolutely, little baby actually went ahead and said that now I want to take on the entire mantle of not only being able to create content intelligently, but also being able to deliver that content with a single click. Now, really quick piece of, I don't even call this statistic amazing anymore. It's very revolutionary. Uh, I did a webinar about 4 weeks ago, which was the build up to launching the new version for Captivate. And one of the questions that I asked all our users in that session was, how many of you would like to convert any of your existing or non-responsive courses to a mobile-ready course? Now, mind the question, it doesn't mean that it redesigns itself or the tool is going to go ahead and tell you, okay, hey, use this layout or use that layout. But wouldn't it be awesome if you can just take a really point and shoot PowerPoint presentation and see it convert and move into a mobile paradigm? So 76% folks said yes. And how many of them, I asked, how many of their learner groups or the learners that they service to use mobile devices? And it was a huge split. They said 72% use smartphones all the time. So I can see a lot of you are excited, and some of you would like to see what that actually means. And we will show you. I will show you what I mean by that. So pretty much where the story is heading for us, where we are at the moment right now, is we want not only for you guys to be able to create content from the ground up using the new version, but the new feature that I'm going to mention now, which is being able to convert non-responsive legacy content to responsive legacy content, is something that I believe a lot of you can use to start just pushing that content that's been lying there with you from yesteryears and moving into a more modern format. So this is definitely one of my most favorite features in this release. The ability for you to just save out as a responsive project is basically just the way that you want to be moving forward. If you are already a user of Captivate or you have used Captivate in the past, we are used by almost 80% of Fortune 500 companies. That not only means that the user community within those companies trusts the tool to boost their productivity, but it also means that a lot of great organizations and a lot of great communities, such as you, have put a lot of faith and a lot of stock in us. Now, that not only affects us from a, let's say, a propositioning standpoint where we go out and present the tool to all of you, but it also puts a lot of faith in our engineering and our research and development. This faith that and the stock that you put in us kind of gives them the power to conceptualize to the next level and continuously innovate. Because for Adobe, this year and moving forward, we are only looking at how to create that perfect digital experience for your users. So any feature, any kind of workflow, or any kind of best practice that we want to share with you is always targeted towards that. Uh, I wanted to go ahead and put this quick infographic, if you might call it, in front of you. Uh, you have this entire space where all of us are at this point in time as a learning and development community. Now, I'm going to use the word community a lot of times today, is because I've seen that it is those communities that are most thriving that exchange the most information amongst each other. Now, uh, I think it's been a privilege that I had a chance to be part of the Photoshop evangelism team a couple of years ago, and I noticed there that the community within the design or the creative design community is exceptionally sharing. Obviously, uh, it's a little different from what we do, but any community that shares or goes ahead and always goes and talks more about what they're doing just brings in that sense of urgency and power across the paradigm. So if you're joining in from any part of the world today's session, uh, you are not alone. There are folks out there in your region, in your country, who are creating great content, and possibly if you are part of the community, you may get to meet them or get to exchange with them. So it is the way it is now. Now, Captivate, with all its industry readiness, as I like to call it, has its presence in almost every major vertical. We've stretched, we've worked with customers across automotive, education, even as much as pharma, healthcare, and even manufacturing. Now, the reason why this varied portfolio of customers that we have, it gives us the ability to learn a lot of unique use cases at any given point in time. We are able to figure out what works for our customers and work backwards from there. Once we do that, it becomes just the idea to actually push that idea into implementation in terms of a feature. And uh, I can probably vouch for this along with other members of our team who are right now on this session when we say that when we listen to our customer, it's like gold nuggets for us. We truly enjoy going ahead and implementing that backwards. Okay, quick stop check here again. I'm imagining another couple of people are having some trouble with sound. So if anyone's having any trouble with sound, please just refresh your browser. And I see a lot of chat about Captivate being part of Creative Cloud. And wow, I'm not going to answer that right. I'm not going to talk about it right now. But yeah, maybe, maybe. Now, for many of you who might have used an older version of Captivate or are actually looking to move towards that paradigm where you want one complete tool, uh, Captivate is probably that one-stop shop for you. Uh, you can go all the way from creating storyboards to application simulations to mobile learning to be able to convert static PowerPoint presentations to interactive e-learning, compliance training, and even product demos or video demos or screen simulations, as we like to call it. Now, if some of you, and I'm pretty sure a majority of us have used Presenter Video Express, which is our video creation tool, and that actually round trips with Captivate. So I'm actually a huge fan of video. I really enjoy recording a lot of desktop video, and Presenter Video Express allows me to just create that video and then port it back into Captivate to use it as part of a larger course. So basically, just to give you that idea that you don't have to move away from one toolkit to achieve the final result that you're looking for. Okay, so this is something before I jump into and I show you what are the new features in 2017. One quick question from all of you. What makes a great learning experience for you guys? And not as an author, but as a learner. What do you think is a great learning experience? One word or a phrase? Interaction. Functionality, interaction, fun, short or segmented and to the point. Great. So what I can actually feel out of this is that you want your content to be talking to your user. And the talk back that content has depends on two things. The quality of the content, as whether it satisfies a learning outcome, and how it's actually delivered to your user. So possibly these two are the main pivots around which you would believe that your content would actually work for your user. So it should be compelling, it has to be personal, it has to be useful, and it has to be everywhere. So what's new in the release of Adobe Captivate 2017? So drum rolled. So Captivate 2017 is smart from the start. Fluid Boxes is the newest addition to the powerhouse family of features for Captivate. Now with Fluid Boxes, you can actually explore the building blocks of smart e-learning with intelligent containers that would use your white spaces optimally. Now, many of us are used to the older version of Captivate where you had breakpoints for mobile learning, and as you toggle through the breakpoints, you could actually see the content resized to specific screen sizes. Now, with Fluid Boxes, you can actually transition or rasterize each data object, whether it's text, images, or interactions, and have them intelligently resize themselves around the screen. So you can actually not only choose to add a fluid box around an object, but you can choose to put an object into a fluid box. So it goes both ways. And yes, there was an older term called Magic Box, but now we changed that to Fluid Box. That is the official term now for Fluid Boxes. And just so that all of you, I'm just going to quickly go ahead and just make a couple of things really clear. Uh, all the features that we will talk about today are going to be part of a reviewer's guide that I've created, which will tell you how to use that feature, and also a demonstration course which will show that feature in action. So you can actually go ahead and work backwards from that project. And the reason why I'm going to be giving you both the reviewer's guide and the project is because this time around, uh, it's it's like a team decision where we want you guys to basically just tear apart this new feature and just see how far that it can go. Now, with fluid boxes, one of the things that I can tell you straight off, and which will give you that visualization in your head of how it works, is a lot of you would have used a tool from the catalog of Adobe called InDesign. Now, I used to use InDesign back in the day to actually create magazine layouts. Now, magazine layouts are column-based, you have images on one side and stuff like that. So imagine Fluid Boxes doing something similar to that inside Captivate. Now, how cool is that? You can not only create more vivid layouts, but you can smartly move pieces of content around, because you can go ahead and scale a lot of stuff that can not only make your content look great, but it also makes your user feel that he's interacting with something epic or amazing. Now, gone are the days where you start bulleting and nesting and moving stuff. It's just taken one step ahead and just increase that boundary of creativity. So if you're looking at it in that way, go ahead and try Adobe Captivate 2017. So Tata is actually helping me out in the chat pod. He's mentioned you can download 2017. And he also mentioned a few of those master slides have nested examples as well. So you can choose to check that out. And towards the end of the session, I will actually put up the project as well as the reviewer's guide. I see we have a few folks here who have actually, have actually had the honor of learning. Well, John Daigle is here. John, thanks for joining in. At one time, I used to go through all of John's videos on RoboHelp, and that actually brought me up to speed like nothing else. It was amazing. So that's awesome. Thanks, John, for coming down for this. Adobe Typekit integration. How many of us have even used Typekit or heard about Typekit? How many of us love fonts, or how many of us like different styles of writing? What kind of effect does it have? Like, the way that Typekit actually works is it gives you access to these thousands of amazing fonts that we have as part of our archive. Now, from within Captivate, all you now need to do is just sync that font with your system fonts. It's a single click syncing process. All you would need is a Typekit subscription, which could be separate or part of your Creative Cloud subscription, and you will have access to those fonts. Again, the demo project that I will give you guys today will have various examples of that. The reason why we wanted to introduce this one integration, which is a huge story for us this year, is that you can now create consistent experiences across all devices. And how do those fonts render in HTML5? They render really, really well. We have done some really, really extensive and hardcore testing on how those fonts render. They render consistently across devices. So it's really, really amazing. And responsive text support. So when you have, I mean, a lot of us have this problem where we have long lines of text and our user has to scroll down all the way to the end of the text to see what's going on. But now, in the new release, all those pieces of text will actually come as a flyway menu. So there'll be a little toggle button right at the end of a little block of text on when your user interacts with it, the text would expand, and once he clicks away, the text would detract. That is an absolutely stunning feature because when you render this content, which might be a little elongated on mobile devices, you would see how it neatly fits and beautifully shapes itself on different devices. And subscription program. So Captivate is now available also on a subscription model, so you can have it on a monthly basis as well. We always get asked. I keep going back to that when a lot of us said like, you know, I want this to be part of Creative Cloud. So there might be a day when that might happen, but not immediately. And productive to the end. So to be able to use one tool for all your content creation and then move all that content to a platform from where you can share it in a single click motion is exceptionally beneficial. You would not only be saving time, but let's say on the learning management side of things, where you actually publish your content, you want to be publishing that content to a system that can not only intelligently assimilate your data, but can also feed it back to your users just the way you want it. So learning programs, learning plans, self-enrollment, auto-enrollment, enrolling external learners, these are just some of the distribution side of things that you want to be looking at. Okay, I'll do a quick stop check here for a couple of questions that have come up. So Melissa, the monthly subscription will come as you will always be able to install the software on 2 devices. It has to be the same user. And Jen, at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't seen the new pricing yet, but it's $29.99 per month for Captivate. And one question is, are there any faculty or student discounts? Claudia wants to know. So Claudia, we do run some specific pricing programs on a case-to-case basis. If you have a setup which you want to talk about where you have a faculty-student combination where you want to work with the tool, we can definitely work out a pricing option for you guys. So for a lot of users who are already on like an older version and you bought the I beg your pardon, you bought the upgrade path to the next version, I believe you will receive the newest version for free. That's part of your ASA, your Adobe Software Assurance Program. And of course, since I'm not the sales guys anymore, I don't work with the sales guys as much, but yeah, I do believe that if you have an ASA already in place with an older version, you can go ahead and receive the newest version free of charge. So David has a really interesting question, which I may want Tara, can we just address this question? Very interesting one that came up. David says that will we be able to save down to legacy versions? That will we be able to save? Okay, so no, we won't. But David, the one thing that you can do is if you have any projects from version 8 and 9, you can move those non-responsive projects into 2017 and convert them into mobile responsive projects. Okay, Robert has another question which I was going to actually address towards the second part of the productive part of Captivate, but I'll take that up now. So when I said one of the main reasons for using just one tool is obviously creation and distribution, Captivate has an assets library of over 75,000 assets. Now, all these assets are based around scenarios, quiz templates, characters, and we not only have assets that are provided from within the tool from Adobe itself, but eLearning Brothers is a entity that we work with very closely, and they provided us a lot of digital assets as well to actually go ahead and add to the repertoire. So most of the content that presently I try to create from the Learning Assets Library and move that way forward. Adobe Captivate Draft is the iPad app where you can storyboard any of your content on the app and then sync it with your Captivate session on your desktop. Once you do that, all you can do is then start creating from the storyboard up and single click publishing. So all the way it's smart from the start and it's productive to the end. And the reason why I put some of these messaging quotients or some of our messaging parts in the presentation today is on our website, on any of our digital properties out there on adobe.com, you're going to see a lot of videos and a lot of collaterals that are going to have these. So if any one of you is actually going ahead and communicating with folks within your organization to either upgrade or procure the tool, these are basically really, really good starting points for a conversation. Our value proposition now for this release and moving forward is smarting up. So rapid e-learning using fluid boxes, typekit integration, responsive tech support, responsive M-learning with smart play, smart ahead, advanced e-learning design. So the ability for you to create branched and complex scenarios and complex e-learning workflows, that still remains. And also outsmart, invest in the best. Not only Captivate as a authoring tool has the best price point in the market, but even if you're looking at a learning management system, it kind of completes the story with Captivate Prime. The monthly cost of ownership for that is best in the market as well. So again, a really good conversation driver for a lot of folks who might want to be communicating with stakeholders when it comes to procuring the entire concept or the entire story. So why did we do this? Like, what prompted us to actually go ahead and create some of these features that, we wanted you guys to just go ahead and experience is, well, the biggest challenge that we heard, like most trainers and educators use an average of three and a half tools for e-learning. And obviously this is, you could be using a bunch of stuff. I could be using Photoshop, I could be using Illustrator, then coming into Captivate, creating images and whatnot. But why not have just one tool? So smart up, we wanted you to create using one tool and also create a lot of engaging e-learning with a lot of assets. And a lot of us who are creating a lot of software simulations or creating a lot of on-screen capture videos, Captivate has that ability to not only create video, but also step-by-step simulation, which also is responsive. So you create once the simulation, it gives you 3 outputs. You can try it, test it, and train someone on it. And all these 3 outputs will also be completely responsive when delivered on a mobile device. The second challenge that was pretty much why we thought about fluid boxes was the ability to create e-learning without programming and the availability of more mobile content. We saw that small survey that I presented to you right at the beginning. That survey and a lot of these statistics that you're seeing on screen are part of a bigger study that we did with Forrester, which will also be made available very soon, which gave some pretty compelling results, not only in terms of which directions L&D teams are moving when it comes to creating content, but also how users are going to be consuming the content, L&D or not. Because user behavior is not going to change, it's only going to evolve. Right now, they're accepting information from all channels. But what will happen eventually is they will mature and understand that there are certain channels that they can choose to ignore or choose to not pay that much attention to, and some channels will become their one-stop shop for information. So being ready and prepared to engage them on that channel is vital. The third challenge. Now, 49% of e-learning content created by organizations is customized and created internally. So all learning and development teams, all design communities completely create their own content in-house. They want to make it customized to not only fit the learning outcome, but also fit the look and feel of the company's vision, what the L&D team's style is, and whatnot. So you should always have the luxury to be able to go ahead and create those complex e-learning workflows at any given point in time. Now, how many of us actually use a lot of data before we create content? Simple, straight off question, because I use a lot of data, but I mean, that's just something that's a thing with me. I love looking at analytics. It's probably been one of the most helpful, it's been one of the most helpful turns in the way I create content or talk about content. So great. So the reason why analytics is really important is there's small things that we used to have maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where some learning management systems would give us options as, hey, how long did he spend on a certain slide? Or hey, how long did he spend on the course but didn't answer the question and exit? Now, all these are in the web world are called engagement metrics, where you actually go ahead and look at engagement metrics to see what keeps your user hooked on to that piece of content. So just completing that second part of the story is, once you create your content and you distribute it on a system, the system should give you customizable analytics which suit you, not only as an administrator, but also can make sense to your user. And this is pretty much one of the biggest challenges that we've heard a lot about. We've discussed this with a lot of our key customers and a lot of our key users, where the average cost per learning hour has just gone up by about 28%. Now, standardizing on a single solution across your team is definitely a step in the right direction. Because when you standardize on a single toolkit or a single concept, you can not only bring down the overall cost of procurement of those tools, but you also bring down the learning curve and the ideation or the conceptualization curve. Is because if everyone is using the same tool, it becomes easier for everyone to exchange and teach each other. So it's just those couple of really important advantages that can be really helpful. So why upgrade? Why should you actually go ahead and move to 2017? Because I already have a major chunk of my user base as well. It's just these compelling and absolutely rock solid mobile design features that are now available to you. We spoke about fluid boxes. You can move your non-responsive content, which is non-mobile, to mobile. You have Adobe Typekit integration. You have responsive text support. You have customizable closed captions. And I don't think I mentioned this to you guys, but now you can move your closed captions across the screen and freely lay them out. Now, they don't need to be necessarily fit to the bottom like subtitles. You can move them per slide or per project to different positionings around the screen. So in case there's a bottom banner in your content which might be overlapping with your closed caption, you don't need to worry about that right now. In that slide, you can just move the closed caption to a different position so that you can keep your great looking content and also keep your closed caption. And there was such a huge push for this specific feature, which was the floating closed captions, that engineering just took it to heart and just put it into this release. And we are getting such massive feedback for this one feature with closed caption is because it's just become so much easier for folks who are creating compliance friendly material to be able to use this. And device specific preview. Remember your breakpoints. Remember that publish option. I don't remember. It was in Captivate 7 or 8. Yes, it was in 7 and 8, where you say publish to all devices. Now in 2017, you have a menu which gives you specific device names where you can just see how your content would look on that one specific device. And if you have a specific resolution or specific dimension, you can add that to the list. So you don't necessarily need to do guesswork anymore, as in move it a little bit, then publish it and see. You can actually preview specific device sizes and orientations and save those as part of the list. This is also one of the most amazing cool features in this release. Couple this with fluid boxes, and you have this powerhouse of a design theme that can just create and show you what it will look like before you send it out. One quick question that I'm going to take on, which I saw was a little up the slide, but I noticed this. Robert says, please address integration with Captivate Prime. I think this is amazing. Robert, first off, thanks for that comment. Adobe Captivate Prime. Now, Prime is our learning management system, which is phase 2 of this amazing story. Now, the reason why I keep putting Prime along with Captivate is because, at least for me, when I talk about our solution story to users, I want distribution and the way they assimilate their content to be as equally important as it has to be for creation. So creation is great, but how you send it out and how smartly you send it out is equally important. So just to address your question, Robert, you have a one-click publishing option from Captivate. You just click once and your module and course gets automatically uploaded to Captivate Prime. Then you can go into Prime, which is, again, a cloud-based learning management system, so you can access it from any browser. You can see your module, how it was uploaded. You can then add it as part of a learning plan, make it part of skill-based learning, and so on. So it's just so compelling that I don't know, I'm getting jitterbugs just talking about it, because I just saw Prime, the newest version of Prime, in action, and it's brilliant. So another quick, so Robert has come up with another comment, which I'm just going to call out. Robert mentions that Adobe has the most amazing ecosystem for developers. So yeah, thanks for that, Robert. And we're trying to build that up as strongly as we can. And a lot of members from the engineering team are here on the session. I'm sure they'll be really glad to hear that, because believe it or not, I work with these guys days in and days out. These guys are amazing. Their passion for innovation is infectious. I mean, you're just forced to think so much more every day. And awesome. I mentioned that we are in DC right now. We are gearing up for our e-learning conference, which is going to happen tomorrow at the Renaissance. If any of you hasn't joined the e-learning community yet, it's adobe.elearning.com. Please do join in. Get a chance to meet mentors, peers, folks who are asking questions or giving you best advice or best practices. Now, I also mentioned that I would want to be sharing the demonstration project with all of you guys, so I'm going to be doing that. Also, if any of you want to try out the newest version of Captivate, please go to adobe.com/captivate, the product page. I'm going to just request Neil to just quickly put in the download link from the main Adobe site here in the chat pod. And because I know that we had an hour blocked out, but I wanted to keep some time. Some time open for questions, because Tata is here, the boys are here. It'd be great to converse. Adam is here as well. From the eLearning Brothers team. Adam has very graciously mentioned that he'll be more than happy to answer any assets related questions. So if you have any questions around assets, Adam is your man. But you can take it from me, the assets are amazing. Like they are exhaustive to the point that you'll start creating and you wouldn't even know you created something great till someone tells you. But nevertheless, Adam is here, and please go ahead and keep asking your questions. We have about 15 minutes more on the session. Just such an exciting time. I'm going to just quickly step off and go to mute and just quickly add those two files that I mentioned that I wanted to share with all of you guys. So keep asking your questions. So Tara, there is a quick question from one of the users who mentioned, David says that, so there is, are we looking at exporting any of the content eventually to CMI 5? Is that something that we would be looking as part of the roadmap? One of the questions has come in as to the compatibility of Captivate with learning management system. So Captivate can hook up with any learning management system which supports SCORM, AICC, or Tin Can. There was a time when Tin Can was the toast of the town. It's making a kind of a comeback. Uh, yeah, a lot of work still on that. And all of the presentations and all of the tracks, most of them will be available online, but that is completely dependent on the author or the presenter tomorrow. If they would want it to be made public, we will do that. But all of the Adobe speakers and all of the Adobe partners who are already part of the track, their presentations will be available. We are also trying to do something really interesting tomorrow since a couple of the presentations and tracks are going to be parallel or concurrent to each other. We're actually going to try to do a live feed of a couple of them. So I'm actually going to be heading there now to actually help with the setup of, doing it for the first time. So almost getting to that first stage of virtual reality where if you're not present at the conference, you can still ask a question or be part of the entire thing, which is really great. Once we get the live feed working, we'll let you know before the end of the day today. Because it has to be fluid because it's going to be two-way. So I've added the reviewer's guide to where you can download it, and I'm also going to just add the project which is available, which you guys can play around with, which Adam can talk a lot about. So there's a lot of assets in there which came from the Learning Brothers catalog. So I'm just going to quickly look for that. I mean, like, I think everything is like in a state of evolution. There are always going to be some nuts and bolts that don't fit in correctly, but I'm like severely excited not only about the new release, but about the conference tomorrow. Uh, we're gonna get to meet a lot of people who we haven't met ever physically and exchange a lot of great information, share a lot of great projects and a lot of practices. So, I mean, it's such a great time right now to be around the engineering team and be around the conference. So if you guys are coming down tomorrow, it'll be great to see you and great to have you. So one of the things with the file, the project itself is it's massive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create a Dropbox link from it, and we'll email the Dropbox link to all of you guys so you guys can download it in peace because probably 150, 160 meg download right now might not be the best idea. Christopher, a lot of our conferences, most of the schedules for our conferences, you will be able to actually see a lot of conferences from ATD, from the e-learning guild. MobileCon is happening tomorrow, and uh, there are a lot of folks. There are a lot of folks in the community here who can actually help you when it comes to what conferences are around these specific regions. But it's an amazing time. A lot of conferences are happening, and it's increasing every day. I see so many new speakers and so many new advocates of creating great content for learning and development coming out that it's just a fabulous time to be. And Tata, my head of quality, has just mentioned to me on a side chat that once you download the trial version, you're going to see a lot of projects in there that are already available that are brand new. So you can use those apart from the ones that we would be sending you out. Also, uh, within the tool itself now is we've actually added tutorial videos which just point at this feature specifically. So it shows you how to use the feature, what's the context behind the feature, and what kind of goal you can achieve. So really targeted information uh, for all of you guys to actually use. And Christopher, you're most welcome. There's always a next time, and obviously we can always stay in touch. So please feel free to reach out to me at any time, and I truly appreciate you coming down and conversing with me. It's amazing. Lisa, so really good question. Aside from the new features, this is something that we are working on. You will see something in terms of a content piece, which will talk about certain limitations around maybe, converting your legacy content, or maybe there's certain best practices you should follow with Fluid Boxes. That is something that's available as part of the help content for Captivate 2017. So believe it or not, this is something that we did right at the top of the kernel, and Tata and his team were really instrumental in doing that. They actually went ahead and did extensive testing to figure out what can work and what may not work, and give you guys a heads up before you start using them. Uh, if any of you want to learn about any of the new features of Captivate itself, you go to the Adobe e-learning channel on YouTube. There are now separate playlists for older versions and a separate playlist for the newest version. If you download the trial of Captivate 2017, when you hit the splash screen, when this loading screen comes up, you will not only see some tutorial projects that are included, but you will also see tutorial videos inside the product. So you can either go to YouTube or you can access them from Captivate. Great. And at any given point in time, whenever we're going to be showing you a lot of these features upcoming in a webinar that's going to happen in 2 days from now. So we're going to be doing a webinar purely on mobile design and responsive e-learning using Fluid Boxes. And that's going to be a really, really deep dive into how that main functionality works. So you're well covered there. Most of the videos that you're going to be seeing that are coming out of the Adobe stable actually show all these features in detail in action with live projects. So you just need the reviewer's guide and the project that we'll share with you, and then you can go ahead and use it. Yep, we will send you out that invite for sure. Yeah, Mikey, we will look at having a certification exam because the features are new, and there is a chance that we will be having a lot of stuff like that. Okay, so folks, what we're going to do is thanks a lot for joining in on the session today. If any of you have any additional questions, please feel free to just send me an email on bhkaul@adobe.com. The project you will find inside Captivate 2017 once you download the trial. I will also have a Dropbox link ready for all of you guys who attended today. So the Dropbox link will come to you. You can download the project from there. The reviewer's guide is available here on Adobe Captivate 2017. And please feel free to go ahead and try the tool. I want to hear about how you guys are using it and what you find great and what you don't find that great and what we can do to make it a lot better. So thanks a lot for joining in on the session today. I appreciate your time and look forward to meeting you guys tomorrow at the conference. If not, reach out over email and I hope to meet you guys soon. Really excited. Thanks a lot for coming in. Appreciate your time. Thank you.